Pitch time! Hello on the other side of the screen. Science communication is not yet your passion, or it is maybe your passion, but in any case you are going to give a pitch about your work. And many people struggle with that because there's so many things to say, so many details that you hold so dear, and how to squeeze them all in a pitch or what to do. In this video I'm going to tell you what to do to prepare it. And I'm going to tell you how you can build that out to a presentation that you would normally give. So it is the same story, and the preparations are also the same. So I'm going to save you a lot of time and hopefully help you to give a pitch that nobody will forget. Watch it! Okay, pitch, how to present it, what to do. Now, if I think of a pitch, then I think of something that happens in time, which is with all presentations, it happens in time, and there's a beginning and there is an end to it, isn't it? Now, the problem you have when you want to design a pitch or a presentation, or you write a paper, is the following, is that you think it's on a line, but the line is only there if you made the line. So where is your pitch then in your mind before it's created? In your mind, it's not a line, it's an area. It's let's say an A4 piece of paper where you could begin here. You can also begin there, you can also begin there. I don't know where you begin. Yeah, and then another question is where do you end? If this is the beginning, then the end should be somewhere else. Would it be this or would it be that? So there is you making choices. If you don't choose where you will end, your journey will not go anywhere. So you have to choose where to end. You can also choose where to begin. But if you say, let's say you choose, I begin here. This is where I begin. Now where to go next? No clue. Because you could go this way, you could go that way, you could go either way. If you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter where you go as a first step. If you don't know where you end up, it doesn't matter which direction you go. So very first thing you need to decide upon is where you will end up. If you make a train journey to Rome, you take another train than if you make a train journey to Uppsala. Yeah? Okay, so train journey to Rome, so Rome it is. So this is Rome, that's where we're going. So we shouldn't go that way. We shouldn't go that way, it should be somewhere that way. Now, what is the pathway that you should take to get from here to there? Obviously, the pathway that brings you there fastest if you give a pitch. But you also want to do justice to what you are presenting. So what we're looking for is the shortest possible route from here to there. And that might be a straight line, but that depends on what you want to present or what you need to present in between. Okay. So it could be that your story starts here, and then you know that it has to go there, it has to go there, and it has to go there. So your story might go like this. If you know these points, then you can start to design it. It's as simple as that. If you don't know these points, you can't design it. Now, back to the line, because this, if I would take this curved thingy and I would stretch it, it would become a line. But then you wouldn't see the struggles you had to find it. Now, back to the line. Which questions to ask yourself to make that line effectively? Now, the very first question I already mentioned is, where do you end up? You have some kind of message, result, solution. I would present it somewhere in the end. I wouldn't present it in the beginning. Yeah. If this is a solution, then it would be wonderful if your audience would be excited, happy, relieved, or whatever, feel anything about the solution you present. Now, if you don't make them feel that, they won't feel it. So if this is your end point, over here you should somehow create craving or create desire for that endpoint. So your first question is, what's my endpoint? Second question is, what should my audience want in order to be happy with that? Okay, very good. And then what comes before this desire? Because this desire could be a very, very specific desire, which not all people in the audience would immediately want if you tell them. So it's not about telling them, we want this. No, telling them a story so they want this. Now there is a possibility to do so. And that is to link this desire to a generic desire they already have. Generic desire. Aha! Now the generic desire might be a big desire for safety, wealth, health, I don't know what, some kind of tremendous desire, which you make them feel, and they have so many things in their mind and so many desires in their system that they don't know what to pick from. If you do not trigger that desire, so your beginning best triggers some kind of generic desire, then I guess that in many cases, not in fundamental research, but in many cases, there is a problem. Oh shit. Big problem. Big problem. And the big problem urges you to come up with a cool idea, and that cool idea leads to a desire. Now, the desire you have, if that would be easily solvable or easily to satisfy that desire, you wouldn't have a story. You wouldn't have work, you wouldn't have excitement. The excitement comes from having a desire and not allowing the audience to have it immediately. So here you have this obstacle. The generic desire, we all want peace, isn't it? But there are countries in which there is a dictator or I don't know what, so what if we would have a drug that makes all dictators very friendly? It's extremely friendly. The good news is there is such a drug. There is a drug. I have it in a bottle. I have it over there. The problem is it tastes awful. You see, I'm just improvising now, but this is how you could do it. And this is very short, isn't it? So this is pitch-wise an interesting approach. Generic desire, problem, your desire you have a solution for, obstacle. And then you need to present whatever you did, preferably your idea, that would be cool. Maybe some kind of method or idea. Method, idea. And that leads to the solution. Maybe you have some key insight in the middle, some key insight. I don't know. And then you get to your solution. Now, if you get to your solution, it's a bit like, detective on television, and there was a murder, and they found the murderer, and they captured him, or was it her? I don't know. And the moment they caught the thief or the murderer and they put him in jail, that doesn't feel like the end of the story, does it? You always have a bit of nothing afterwards to relax and to make sure, okay, the problem is solved now, I can be relaxed again. So it would be wonderful to have a bit of nothing, or a bit of, well, it's not nothing, but the action was here. A bit of reassurance, we call it a coda, and the coda would be nice. It's not red because I think it's special, it's red because I just took the wrong pen. The coda would be nice if you link back to what you told here. Okay, so this is how you can build a pitch. And the simple thing is that if you have 3 minutes, please aim to make something like this that works in 2.5 minutes, or 2 minutes maybe. So you make it shorter than you actually want. Why? If you have it shorter than you actually want, you can start to add something. And I know you have on your mind, wait a minute, to be honest, if I look at this picture, to get from here to there, well, that is a grotesque story to tell it like this, because actually we had to look in this paper and that paper, and then we did some preliminary research and we had some troubles, and then we ended up there. But this key insight is, of course, vital. It's vital for the story and to do justice to the story. Bad luck. If you have 3 minutes, you can present 3 minutes. So what are you presenting? You're presenting an exciting abstract. You're not presenting the paper. Yeah, that might ring a bell. In the abstract, you don't do all the details. That's in the paper. Okay. So this is how you could make a pitch. And you could have some kind of exciting, inspiring, unexpected beginning. You could have an anecdote. Mrs. Jones, the poor thing, she lost an ear. Yeah, she was shaving, and then something wrong happened, and she aimed for a career as a painter, and she thought, why not begin at the end and then work my way back and make paintings? So she lost an ear. And then you have, well, some kind of ideas that result in an ear that is grown into a form. So you have this dummy ear, but it is real tissue. Yeah, has been done, by the way, and this is a pitch from one of the pitch winners from a contest that I was happy to guide. Okay, so you could have this story, poor Miss Jones, and then you could get back here to the Miss Jones story. And with this solution, I hope that Miss Jones and all the Mrs. Jones of the world will finally get their ears back and start to paint with 2 ears, 2 eyes, and great colours, something like that. So here, this is a colour. Very nice if you link back to that. Okay, so this is how to make a pitch, but what do you see? You see that I don't have something like this. Yes, I'm taking stuff and even more stuff and even more stuff. Oh, sorry, now it's finished. I'm drawing a skyline over here of little blocks. Does it make sense to have a skyline of little blocks? It makes sense to have a skyline of little blocks. Because you watched, and if you didn't watch it before, you're going to watch it now, you watched the video on communication channels and signals we send. And there you can learn, or you learned, that we need all the signals you send, the gestures, facial expressions, all the things you do, to somehow support the content. Yeah? So maybe brief summary, what was it about? It was about you presenting, and then you send a lot of signals with your voice and your body, also words, yeah, and then the content is able to do the words but not the rest. And the trouble is that if these signals are not consistent, if they don't support each other, then we don't buy it. If I say, oh, I'm sure, it's weird. So we need these signals to align, to somehow say something, in a sense to say something about the content or about the meaning of the content. And for that you need to use all the signals, and these signals are driven by emotion. They are actually driven by the meaning of what you say, but you feel something about it and you have an idea about it. Yeah? And this is one of the things that tend to go wrong in scientists' mind. Yeah, scientists say, well, in our case, presentations are difficult to listen to, and people have low attention because in our case, it is about the content, and that's not true. In the case of many scientists, the content is able to change the words. The rest become this monotonous presenting drone. So their presentation, this is their presentation, not the PowerPoint, this is their presentation, is not about the content. An adequate theatrical presentation, that's about the content, where all the signals somehow say something about the meaning of what you say, so you have the utterly natural presentation. Very good. Now, what's the problem now? You have your skyline, and you need to make a distinction between these different blocks, otherwise nobody will listen. Okay. Now where does it come from? Well, basically from the meaning of what you say, or from the emotion that goes well with it. So your beginning might be intriguing. Your problem might be problematic. Your desire might be, desirable. Your obstacle might be, bad luck. And then you have your method. Oh, it's very interesting. We do it like this, we do it like that. And then you have your first result. Maybe you have this key insight, but wait a minute. If we would do it like this, that would be wonderful. And then you have your result. And now we've shown, a bit amazed. Now we've shown that we can do this and that and such as that. And we hope, of course, a bit solemn, and we hope, of course, that Miss Jones and all the Mrs. Joneses of the world, you see? So this is how it goes. This is how it goes. So if you want to have a pitch that works, you need to prepare it. You think of the end, you think of the desire, most important things. You think of the other things that you want to put in. And then you make sure that every bit of your presentation gets a flavor, a way of presenting that goes very well with what you say. Now that's what we're going to do in the live session. We're going to explore that. So what do you need to prepare for the live session? You need to prepare this. So if you have all these blocks and you make it, you use the template that we send you and you just fill out, this is just filling out the form, isn't it? Yeah? And there you create a skeleton of your story, a small, shorter version of your story, and then you can present it and you can play with it and you can add styles to it, and that's what we're going to do. And then you're going to have a pitch we will never ever forget. Now this is, of course, the short track. If you think this is enough for now, you can just stop the video. If you're eager to see what happens if we would use this for a complete presentation, then you have to watch a couple of minutes extra. But happy to have had you as a guest in this video. So see you next time. Thank you for staying. Okay, what to do if you have a real presentation? Utterly simple. You simply take a bicycle pump, and you pump this one up so it becomes big. How big? Well, in the same sense as you had an abstract. And what do? Well, you do it the other way around. You write a paper and then you make an abstract. But this is if you have a pitch or you have an abstract, you make a complete paper. You blow it up with all the details that you think you need to present. Not with more details, because it just doesn't fit. And then what do you get? You get the same here. This would be the same, but this would be a bit longer. Between generic desire and problem, there would be some preliminary research, other research, other details that you have to present over here, and then you have your introduction, and then so your introduction is basically the same, but then you just add more stuff to it. So this is introduction, and please friends, restore the research question, because that is going to give texture to your presentation. It's going to give intelligence to the whole thing. Otherwise you're presenting, everybody's looking at something, we're also looking at something, this is the result, bye. Yeah, so please have a research question, and the research question comes after the desire and after your cool idea. More about that in the writing course, by the way. Yeah? And then you have your method. And your method consists, I guess, also of blocks. So it's about skyline. It's always about skyline when you present. Like it's always about scenes when you're watching a movie. And then you have your results and you have your discussion. And results and discussion. Results and discussion method. And then you get somewhere, in the results and discussion, you get to your solution or something, yeah, solution. I guess that's the solution. Now, to make sure that you highlight that one, it's wonderful if you have a conclusion, and then you have the same coda as you had over here. Now I have to make it red, of course, yeah? The same coda as you had over there, where you look back and you look forward. So now we've shown that Mrs. Jones and but in the future we also want to do it for Mr. Smith. Something like that. Thank you very much for your attention. Now you see, this would be an entire presentation, and the entire presentation is just the same idea as that one. It's just the same idea as reading bedtime stories to your nephews and your nieces. So, let the meaning take over. Make sure all the signals support the content and tell something about the content. And then you're off. I wish you a lovely presentation. I wish you a tremendous pitch. And I hope that we will meet, and otherwise you'll see one of my colleagues. Bye bye.